Sport Industry TV was at Bloomberg for the Nolan Partners Sport Industry Breakfast Club, where CEO of Arsenal Football Club Ivan Gazidis told a packed room of industry executives that manager Arsene Wenger retained the full backing of the club's board and explained that football's blinkered spending has to stop.
I mean, your manager, amongst everything else, is an economics graduate, and he said the other day thinks there could be a crash in 3 weeks or 3 months. Do Arsenal think that football's heading for a cliff, and is that part of the reason why there's so much desire to be sustainable, the self-sustainability?
I think that football revenues, particularly in the Premier League, have continued to grow dramatically over time, and I think that has masked, provided revenues keep growing, it masks underlying issues that might be there. I don't believe that something that can't go on forever will. They've been great deals for us, but they are coming up in 2014, and it will give us an opportunity to talk with our partners again about the renewal terms, and certainly, we think there is growth there. We've been busy making sure that the club is embracing its global position. We went on tour this year for the first time in a long time and saw the incredible power of the Arsenal name around the world. I mean, that was it was a very, very strong tour with great fan engagement with communities in the Far East. If I could simplify it a little bit, you've got the football business, which is relatively small for these clubs. And then you've got what we'll call the brand value, which is enormous. Clubs like Arsenal, like Manchester United, like Chelsea, like Real Madrid, like Barcelona, have followings all around the world. I shouldn't leave Liverpool out of that list. That are extraordinary. The value of those names ranks up there with multinational corporations, multinational brands. Football clubs, though, haven't yet realized that full potential. And so what you're seeing, I think, with owners coming in and pushing money into the game is essentially the football business is irrelevant to them. The size of that business is an irrelevance. What they are looking at is to associate themselves with the brand of the Premier League, the brand of the football club.
As a human watcher, it's quite upsetting to see him at the moment. He looks extremely exhausted and haggard. A lot of media commentators saying he looks broken. As a human to human and somebody you work with very closely, that is at the moment it's a sad situation to see.
Again, he's not broken. I think again that's a portrayal that is one of these black and white portrayals. You're either flying high and everything is great, or you are a broken failure. And to see him portrayed because he is responsible as some kind of idiot is profoundly damaging, not to Arsenal and actually not to Arsene, but damaging for the game. You immediately come home after the game and you can learn what the Arsenal community is thinking. And Arsenal needs to be at the center of that. So we have 8 million followers closing in on 8 million followers on Facebook. When we went to China, we called it a digital tour. We built an online community of over 250,000 people out of that tour in China. And the opportunity that we now have is certainly to connect globally, but also to engage with fans personally. And that personal engagement, where we are touching fans in the ways that they want to be engaged with. We've increased ticket prices twice in the last 6 years. The rest of the time we've held them flat, in contrast to other clubs. The increase we made this year was an inflationary increase of 4%. The VAT rise, I can't take responsibility for. I'm sorry, that's an issue between you and your government. When we had a VAT reduction, we passed that on to fans, and when VAT rises, it's passed on to fans, absolutely. So we've taken one inflationary rise in the 3 years that I've been at the club, and two rises, both of them inflationary, one actually below inflation, during the last 6 years. I think we've been very responsible in how we manage our fan base and our relationship with them, and very understanding that's a long-term relationship. Finally, I would just make the point that financial fair play, and UEFA, this is UEFA's initiative to allow clubs only to spend the money that they generate on players, is coming in. It's here. It's supported not just by UEFA, but by clubs all across Europe and within the Premier League. And if you go out and spend enormous amounts of money on players at this point, you have to answer the question, how am I going to get in compliance with these financial fair play rules, which are in effect? So there is another issue as well. I think that's a good issue to have within the game. I think people should be thinking about that, and that's why we're supportive of financial fair play.